Okay, so this is a very different kind of video than I normally do, but unfortunately it's something that has to be said. Riot Games has given up on League of Legends, and unfortunately for us, the only way of fixing it is to give them a lot of money. I never thought of League of Legends as being a dying game until recently, and it pains me to say it as much as I'm sure it does for some of you to hear it, but it's happening, whether you like it or not. I started playing in the last couple months of Season 8. Hey, it's Editor Burn here to just quickly correct myself. So I actually downloaded the game in 2018, but my internet was too bad that I actually only played the game starting 2019. Okay, continue with the video. To put into perspective, the first champion I saw get released was Nico. The first event I was a part of was the original Battle Academia, where I got this emote that I used for a whole season. That means I've only seen 21 of the 162 champions get released, which is roughly 13% of the champions. But why is any of this important, you ask? Well, joining the game in late 2018 means I've never been a part of the Harrowing or Snowdown events. This means I've never played Ascension, Black Market Brawlers, Darkstar Singularity, definitely not Dominion, Doombots, Hexakill, Hunt of the Blood Moon, Star Guardian Invasion, Nemesis Draft, Nexus Siege, Odyssey Extraction, Project Overcharge, or Snowdown Showdown. I came in after League's peak era for casuals. But why do I know all of these game modes and events if I never experienced them myself? It's because of League of Legends and the whole ecosystem that drew me in entirely. In my starry-eyed early days of League, I fell in love with this game. I had never played anything like it. The only game on a PC I had played before League was Minecraft. Something about the way it played with right-clicking and casting spells just hits the right spot in my brain, along with all the creatively designed and wonderfully thought-out champions. Well, mostly. It got to the point where I'd feel upset when someone would speak badly about the game, because in my eyes, it was perfect. But years have passed, and now League is getting hit by a wave of dissatisfied content creators, spiteful players, and loving developers leaving the game. But why? Why suddenly now and not last month or year? Well, I think December of 2022 was the final letdown people could take. But before we look at December, let's look at the many reasons for League's downfall. The first obvious thing is the lack of new game modes. Now, I'm a marketing major in my final year, so I know a little bit about how businesses want to operate. And to sum it all up as simply as I can, money is good. More money is better than less money. The easiest, most low-effort way to make more money as a business is to lower expenses while increasing your income. So how would Riot do this? Well, they would cut costs while producing more products. And that's exactly what they did. Game modes are free after all. We as players don't have to pay to play them. So how would this ever make Riot money? Well, they would sell you skins along with the event to get you to buy the skins out of goodwill. A quick explanation of what goodwill is, it's the raising of a business's reputation by its customers. To give an example, when Pentakill Lost Chapter came out, one of my friends enjoyed it so much that he wanted to support Riot for doing such a good job that he bought all of us one skin of our choice. I obviously chose my boy Viego. Funnily enough, he had also quit League about a year ago, so that just shows you the true power of goodwill. In terms of events, we saw this happen with Spirit Blossom back in 2020. Everyone was in love with that event, myself included. It was like a whole different universe was created. But wait, it was canon. Not only did this event introduce two champions who I adore playing, as well as some absolutely amazing skins, but it also introduced my favorite game mode of all time, Nexus Blitz. I'm an absolute sucker for party games. I grew up playing Wii Sports, Mario Party and the like, so Nexus Blitz felt right at home with me with its random mini-games during each game. I was in absolute awe when it was announced. I loved the music, the visuals, and most of all, the items. They brought back some, at the time, removed items such as Force of Nature and Spear of Shojin, but my favorite item was Ghost Walkers, the boots that let you have Cane E. That's the kind of item I want to see in more casual game modes. One that's just funny to use. Like imagine seeing a Garen run at you through a wall, yelling, Demacia! I don't know, maybe that's just the old Garen main in me trying to claw its way back out. But luckily there was hope for me after all. Riot announced that Nexus Blitz would be returning in 2022, and then it was leaked that Spirit Blossom would be coming back out as well. Myself and many others put our collective one brain cell together and drew the conclusion that they would bring it back. But they didn't. Why? Well, Necrit made a very good video outlining that the staff in charge of game modes had been moved over to TFT and Riot Forge, and that the new items had actually broken the code for Nexus Blitz, but no one was around who knew how to fix it. So what do I think should happen with the game modes then? I think there should be a workshop type thing where the community can make their own game modes. We already have a pathetic version of that called the Join Custom lobby. Let's not forget that the only other permanent game mode, ARAM, was a fan-made game that Riot just yoinked. The second thing would be a lack of quality. I'm not the only one who's noticed that Riot has taken more of a quantity over quality approach. In 2020 alone, they released 189 skins, which is more skins than there are champions in the game. But these are the skins I want to draw your attention to. The Ashen Knight skin line. Or, well, I guess Ashen Knight Conqueror Slayer and Grave Knight. There is no type of player I hate more in this game than the people who complain about a skin being terrible and not living up to its fantasy laid out by the skin line, but then buying the skin anyways because it's a limited time skin. As I said earlier, businesses are controlled by money. Money is the way they see the world. If Riot puts out a skin and no one buys it, they won't put out similar skins in the future because it didn't sell well. But if they put out a skin, arguably one of the worst skins of 2020, the skin that was immediately hated by the community, so much so that the developers changed the whole name of the skin line, but people buy it anyways. Riot knows that it doesn't matter what quality they put out. The mains and collectors of the game are just going to buy it regardless. Now, unfortunately, I have no physical evidence for the amount of people that bought the Pantheon and Silas skins, but from what I see playing normal and ARAM games, around 1 in every 4 or so games I see the icon that you get when you buy the skin. Another problem with the quality of skins is the lack of feedback that Riot takes. We can see this most prominently in the previous example. The community cried out about how much the shirtless dude with a helmet doesn't fit the same theme that was presented in the amazing Pyke skin, and what did Riot do for the next skin? Another shirtless dude with a helmet on. Before we move on to the flop that was 2022, I have one more thing to mention. League of Legends is not friendly towards new players. Thus, it's slowly dying. It's bad enough that League has such a bad reputation of being one of the most toxic games, but it gets even worse for those brave souls who try the game anyways. When I first made my account, I accidentally made it in NA because I had no clue what nah or ew was. Upon remaking an account, I got into the client after a couple tries of the tutorial breaking for me, to which I'm greeted to this ancient picture, and Sion playing 2 voice lines at once. I'm then told to move with right click and attack with right click. I have to then fight Sion, which in a real game Misfortune wouldn't win this. You then choose a champion, but aren't even told that you can see what your abilities do by hovering over them, nor are you told to take the turret. Also, the turret does like 0 damage to you. Funnily enough, only after you take the turret does it tell you that you need to destroy the turrets. Congratulations, you just finished the tutorial. Let's see what you learned. Move with right click, attack with right click, destroy turrets to get to the Nexus, destroy the Nexus to win the game, click on the arrow to level your ability, standing next to things that die give you XP which gives you levels, press P to open the shop, right click to buy items, get gold by landing the last hit on minions, killing enemies gives gold, you can recall by pressing B which takes you back to base. As a new player, if you went into a game with real people in it, you would get absolutely curb stomped. League is way too complex of a game for its entirety to be taught to you in 3 tutorials. The saddest part of it all is how good the Legends of Runeterra tutorials are. When a new keyword comes out, you're given the details of what it does and then a linear example of how it can be used. You then have to prove you know what you're doing by using it in a specific scenario where there is only one right play to make out of a multitude of options. The lack of a good tutorial just feeds into toxicity in my opinion. I play with an adapted version of locked camera, where my unlock is on spacebar, so I spend a majority of the game focused on myself, but can still freely move the camera when I need to, without having to move my hand all the way up to Y. I use flash on D instead of the faker way of F. Why? Because when I started playing the game, I was taught how to play in locked camera, and the flash spell is defaulted to D. I get flamed all the time for playing with locked camera. The most common thing someone trying to be negative in my videos would say to me is, well, just first unlock your camera. Now with the tutorial being so bad, players go into games with such a small understanding of the game that they just run around like headless chickens. And with the state of smurfing, hand leveling accounts, or just playing in that MMR, smurfs tend to get frustrated at how terrible these players are when it's not even their fault that they weren't taught how to play. I learned how to play by playing with my friends who had been playing for years at that time, and watching YouTubers who would give coaching in their videos. It's such a bad game model in my opinion for your tutorial to be in the hands of the community, because when you get drama about who is right. That's why, in the near future, I'll be making a series of videos that will act as an actual tutorial for people who have never played the game. And yes, I am a stupid gold player, but surely a casual player should be the one teaching other casuals how to have fun, and not the high elo min-maxing streamers. Now that we've gotten those few out of many more points that I could probably make a whole second video about out of the way, let's talk about 2022. The year started with an absolutely amazing cinematic that featured the likes of Kai'Sa, Talia, Sejuani, Pantheon, Leona, and most importantly, Ornn. The community went absolutely nuts. Not only was the call an amazing song, but the visuals itself were also astonishing. I mean, you could see Pantheon's pores in his skin. And I've never seen my girl look so pretty. But unfortunately, we would be baited by the cinematic. We thought there'd be a void event. More on that later. We then had the release of Zeri. Yeah, she's been quite the problem on the balance side, but hey, I like her design and let's pretend she has cool lore. A month later, we got the release of Renata Glosk, one of my favorite supports. 10 out of 10 design, lore, teaser, gameplay, perfect. A lot of skins later we got Belvath, who was for but a moment hated because they made a monster hot. But then Riot was praised because she was actually hotter, but made to be more monstrous. Good job, Riot. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I've said only good stuff, and the Void event is still on its way, along with Nexus Splits. How was this a bad year? Nilah. Okay, no, I like Nilah, but it's what came with her that was the beginning of the end. It was announced that Star Guardians would return. You know, that skin line that's totally not ripping off the nostalgia of people who enjoyed a certain show. But I digress. Who cares if they're bringing back the cash grab skin line, as long as the Star Guardian invasion comes back, which, by the way, I was extremely hyped for because I'd never played the original. The whole player base waited on bated breath. Finally, the PBE arrives. No Star Guardian invasion. Just unsealed spellbook, the pre-existing Ahri voiceover. This was the Void event we had all hoped for. Nothing but skins and a reused game mode. More skins later, and we come to Worlds 2022. One of the only reasons some people still interact with the League of Legends IP. The Worlds Anthem. The only anthem in history to unite the entire League of Legends community under the one phrase, "It's not a bad song, just not a Worlds song." To which we got sass from the president of League of Legends himself. Not only was the song itself unworlds-like, it was also the video to go along with it. It felt soulless and dull. There was no action like the previous ones. An amazing art style, don't get me wrong, just more talent was wasted to produce another mediocre product. On back-to-back disappointments we go to the Spirit Blossom event. Just bring back Nexus Splits, Riot. I have nothing more to say. The snow begins to fall. It's Christmas time. What's this? We're getting a new winter-themed skin line? Oh yay! So does that mean we get any of the winter-themed game modes back? Will we even get a winter map? Will it be a Christmas miracle? Unfortunately not. Not all stories have a happy ending. No winter rift, no winter game mode, just skins, and Riot taunting us. Well, the year may have been mediocre, but at least I can still watch my favorite YouTubers, right? Unfortunately not. I first became aware of how big this had gotten when I saw this Scooch video. One of my idols just gone. Even the statistics agree he started the snowball effect of quitting videos. Hell, even I felt like getting some quick and dirty views, so I made a video about it too. This led others to make the same style of announcement videos, like the heart attack both Ross Boomsocks and Necrit gave me, and this video by Professor Akali that I didn't bother watching because it's probably clickbait. The most important thing that was voiced would have had to been in the Necrit video. There's next to no new lore in League anymore. The lore's been shifted to Legends of Runeterra, but that game's been declared not canon after only a year of it being canon. So in 2022, not only did they push away their casual players by not bringing back any fun and new exciting game modes, but they also pushed away their fans who care about the lore. So who's left? Try-hard ranked grinders and pro players. And that's why the game's become so toxic. Because the goal has been shifted from having fun in this unique world to look who's got the highest win rate and play them until they get nerfed, or else you're told to do unspeakable things to yourself. But wait, there's more. The Season 2023 cinematic. Surely after such a downward spiral of a year, 2023 will be a fresh start in which they keep their promises and improve, considering that this year is their most funded year. Yep. I reckon that's the final nail in the coffin. And you guys seem to agree. So what can we do? Well, if Riot Games won't give us fun, then I guess we'll just have to find it ourselves. That's why my channel exists after all. I want to help people find the fun in League of Legends by not taking the game so seriously. But finally, I do need to ask a favor of you guys. The only way we can spread this message is through our own actions, partly because of the oversaturation of League content, and the stinky Reddit mods that don't allow you to post your videos, even though you spent weeks working on them. So go out there and be the positive change you want to see. And subscribe to me if you want, I don't mind.